Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. NPR reports on several major developments. Transportation Security Administration workers who have gone without pay for over 40 days may soon receive their salaries after President Trump ordered the Department of Homeland Security to find funds within its existing budget. This comes amidst lengthy airport security lines caused by staff, sick leave, and resignations. Congress, however, has recessed without a long-term funding deal for the TSA. In the Middle East, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced plans to expand the invasion of Lebanon. This ongoing conflict has already displaced over 1 million people and claimed more than 1,200 lives, including 3 Lebanese journalists. Israel aims to establish a buffer zone to prevent Hezbollah rocket fire. Simultaneously, the critical Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed to oil tankers, leading to the deployment of an additional 2,000 U.S. troops to the region, with more expected. President Trump claims negotiations with Iran are progressing, and Tehran will permit 20 oil tankers to pass through the strait today. Domestically, the Supreme Court is preparing to hear arguments on whether all U.S.-born children should automatically receive citizenship, a long-standing practice challenged by the Trump administration. Public opinion on birthright citizenship is divided. Nationwide No Kings protests against the Trump administration's policies also took place, marking the third wave of such demonstrations since his second term began. According to JJ Press, a European security source revealed that China utilized fake LinkedIn profiles in an extensive operation to spy on NATO and European Union institutions. Beijing's State Security Ministry allegedly orchestrated the scheme, targeting dozens of employees with fictitious accounts posing as recruiters. These Chinese spies would first request paid reports, then escalate to soliciting non-public or even classified information. One notable fake profile, Kevin Zhang, claimed to head a Hong Kong-based firm, Oriental Consulting. Recruits from countries including France, Belgium, and the United Kingdom reportedly received hundreds to thousands of dollars for their cooperation. Belgian Justice Minister Annelies Verlinden highlighted that social media acts as a breeding ground for major powers to engage in espionage and spread propaganda. Topics of interest included EU sanctions against China and NATO's strategy in Asia, particularly concerning Taiwan. This operation aligns with previous warnings from French intelligence and Britain's MI5 regarding China's use of LinkedIn for recruitment and intelligence gathering. JJ Press reports that Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, publicly branded a deadly strike on an Iranian elementary school in Mainab on February 28th as a calculated U.S. assault. Speaking at an urgent debate in the United Nations Human Rights Council, Araghchi stated that more than 175 students and teachers were slaughtered in cold blood, describing the incident as a war crime and a crime against humanity that demands unequivocal condemnation and accountability. UN Rights Chief Volker Turk echoed the sentiment, telling the Council that the bombing evoked visceral horror and insisted on the need for justice. A mother who lost 2 children in the attack also addressed the Council, urging them not to forget the tragedy. The strike occurred on the same day the United States and Israel launched the broader Middle East war with attacks across Iran. Preliminary U.S. military investigation findings, as reported by the New York Times, suggested a U.S. Tomahawk cruise missile hit the school due to a targeting mistake, with coordinates set using outdated data, as the school building was formerly part of an adjacent Iranian base. Despite this, Iran's foreign minister rejected the idea of an accident, asserting that with U.S.'s advanced technologies, such an attack could only be deliberate and intentional. China and Cuba supported the call for an independent investigation, while the U.S. and Israel disengaged from the debate. Turk also raised concerns about Iran's domestic human rights crackdown since the conflict began. Al Jazeera reports that Iraq's carefully re-established ties with its Arab neighbors are severely strained as Iran-aligned armed groups persistently launch drone and missile attacks from Iraqi soil towards Gulf nations and Jordan. This escalating shadow war has prompted a strong joint condemnation from Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. These 6 nations accuse Baghdad of failing to control armed proxies within its borders, violating international law and UN Security Council Resolution 2817, and assert their right to self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. While Iraq's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded by affirming the security of Arab countries as integral to its own and rejecting the use of its territory for attacks. Analysts view Baghdad's response as reactive rather than proactive. Experts suggest Iran uses these proxies to bypass international resolutions and avoid direct legal responsibility, steadily testing Gulf patience. The situation highlights Iraq's eroding sovereignty and the risk of further escalation, potentially opening new fronts if the U.S. were to consider a ground invasion of Iran. Al Jazeera reports that Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, has ordered the expulsion of British diplomat Albertus Gerhardus Chauncey van Rensburg, the second secretary at the British Embassy in Moscow. The FSB accused him of economic espionage, claiming he engaged in intelligence and subversive activities and attempted to obtain sensitive information from Russian experts. In response, the British Foreign Office called the accusations completely unacceptable and vowed not to tolerate intimidation of its embassy staff. This incident occurs amid severe tensions following Russia's ongoing war on Ukraine, with both nations accusing the other of heightened intelligence operations. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.